Have you ever wondered if true authenticity ever existed, or if it does exist, like something completely original? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about the reality of authenticity, what it really means to me, and how we are always remixing ideas, and how to use strategies to find our community and our true selves, and what's been working for me in that sense. So let's get started with in the 18th century, a scientist called Antoine Lavoisier once said, "In nature, nothing is created and nothing is lost. Everything is transformed." Well, even though he's involved with chemistry, this is not only about chemistry. This also applies very well to ideas and authenticity. Our creative output is normally a transformation that we do once we're exposed to things in order to create something new. Our creative outputs is oftenly a transformation of the things we consumed. There's a video. I'm recently graduating here in New York City and SUNY, the City University of New York, for multimedia programming and design. And one of the classes that I had, I think it was in my third semester for creative processes, is that the professor was basically showing us a video. And I think it's a very interesting video because, in a way, everyone should know of this video. It's a very famous video on YouTube. It's called "Everything is a Remix." Basically, the concept of the video is to introduce the idea that everything that exists out there is a remix of ideas. And it's literally a transformations that people do from things that they were exposed to. So I believe that's the core concept of authenticity. Bringing another reference, there's another book called Steal Like an Artist that I have recently not read but heard. I love hearing audiobooks. This is one of the things I like to do in my spare time or when I'm commuting to places here in New York City, because sometimes I do have to do long commutes, and a way of like letting the time pass by is by listening to content and being creative and keeping like learning. So I came across this book, and I've also watched other YouTube channels of people referencing to this book and suggesting it here on YouTube, and I thought, okay, why not give it a chance? It's a very short book. It's like an hour audio. You can listen it very quickly. So basically, the core idea of the book is the author Austin Kleon says that good artists copy, which I don't know if I like that, but great artists, they steal. But stealing in a context that it means much more from learning what inspires you, what impacted you, what resonated with you, and transforming it in your own thing. I'm going to make another video about what I learned from this book, because it's a lot of the things that you can apply for content creation, especially for small creators. It was a book that really inspired me to two books. This one and the other one was like The Only Thing. I liked this book a lot too. They were very inspiring to like kind of like boost my confidence and keep me creating. But getting back to the concept of like authenticity and finding your community, how it works for me basically is it's not about creating something new entirely. It's about what I mentioned, being exposed to content and then letting it come through me, and whatever resonates, makes notes of that, and then gather all of the things that resonated with me, amalgamate it in one thing, and then generate my idea. So basically that's the core concept of like authenticity, of like finding your true self, which will direct you to your community. So here are a couple of the things I do. First, I exposed myself to a lot of knowledge. Okay, so that's one of the things we have to be constantly doing if we want to be content creators. We have to expose ourselves to knowledge, because we're bringing content, we're bringing information. How are we going to like reference those informations? How are we going to keep up with new content if we're not being exposed to new content? And also, we live in a world that we're constantly being exposed to different content formats. So that's one of the things I do. I read books, I listen to audiobooks, I watch movies, I pretty much do what like anyone does actually, but I do it in a way that I'm taking notes of all of these content formats, things that resonated, like whether if it's sentences, whether if it's like the aesthetics of it, the audio, the story format from a movie. But the thing is, like, I'm always finding ways to hold on, there's someone texting me. Okay, back to the video. So I'm always finding ways to understand this content formats and how it impacts me and what resonates with me, and then I make a note of that immediately. Like I make a note on my phone, like on the notes app, and I write it down, like, oh, I like this sentence, or I like this. So this is one of the things I first do. I initially like get exposed to all of that, and then when I have an idea that I want to share, I basically I have all of those notes that I created. I try to create a line of thinking of like an idea that I want to communicate through those combinations of ideas. And well, we're in the age of AI, and of course I use ChatGPT to help me structure those ideas. So I get all of the notes that I've was like exposed to and that I learned from, and then I throw it in ChatGPT and ask it to organize in like a very like well-defined line of thinking to deliver a certain idea, and it helps me to like structure it. And once I structure that, I'm like, well, that's actually what I wanted to say, but like bringing all of the references that impacted me that I brought, because ChatGPT will not just generate the ideas on its own. It will give you ideas, but at the same time, like, will give you like a specific bias ideas, not the ones you were exposed to or that resonated with you. So that's the beauty of AI, because I don't feel like it's going to replace us, but we can use it to help us boost our creativity. So that's one of the things I do. And then I write down everything I learned from that, and then I make a journal, like kind of like a journal, this based on those scripts, and then I make a video, which like this video is based on a journal that I made from content that I was exposed, that I threw on ChatGPT, that provided me with more like structured ideas, and then I wrote it down, and then I'm here talking to you. And just so you know, I already bought like 3 different references for you in these videos. First one, Lavoisier, it's chemistry. Second one is Still Like an Artist, a book. And then another one is Everything's a Remix. So those are things that impacted me here, and I combined in order to bring a different idea and to contextualize a topic or a thing that I wanted to talk about. One thing people don't understand, or they do, is that the human brain and our perceptions, they are really biased to our experiences, to our values, to what our ideas, and mainly because of our emotions. This is simply why 2 people can look at the same things and see different things out of that. So a lot of people are going to be watching this video, or not, but if people are watching this video, they're going to be noticing different things. Some of you might notice that I have a plaid shirt, and whoa, this is good. Some of you might notice that I have a necklace. Some of you might notice like the lights here in the back. Some of you might notice that I'm like in front of a computer. Some of you might be paying attention to what I'm actually saying and don't even care with anything else in this video. But the thing is, we're always constantly noticing different things, and that's literally based on our emotions and our experiences and our values, and it will be from person to person, right? We'll have different perspectives from different exposures from different kinds of exposures to content. So that means that your lenses are a beautiful example of your authentic remix and your own and unique perspective in your worldview. So we come to another topic, which is like where I take my references from. I already mentioned a lot of formats that I take my references from, which there's a lot of variety of formats you can be exposed to, like podcast, movies, even movies, like music is something that inspires me a lot. Music lyrics, sometimes just the music with no lyrics, it will have sometimes way much more emotional impact on my creative process than anything else. And that will generate ideas for me that the way I never thought it could. So this is another thing too. So the point being here is find what excites you. And do not be afraid to borrow, to adapt, and to transform things into your own, because that's what it means to be authentic, and that's the biggest way on finding your own community. Because when you remix authentically, you naturally and organically find people that resonates with your style, with what you have to say, or maybe they will connect with one of the things you have to say. They maybe will connect with one specific aspect of your remix. And that's enough to make a click between both of you, whether it's your story, the way you're telling story, whether it's like your personality. There's something that will attract you to that person and make that click. So where to start? I believe that a good way to start understanding a little bit of your authenticity and like your interests and your likes and dislikes. Sometimes we're so overwhelmed with everything, we don't even realize and stop to do it. And I was actually like that until I stopped to like, well, I actually like that. So one of the things I do, I have an app here on my phone. This is not like a propaganda or anything. I'm literally suggesting because it works for me. I do it over the computer because it's better, but I also do it on my phone when I come with ideas like out of nowhere. But I'm a very visual organizer. Like I like to organize everything visually. So I like visual organization. So for me, stick notes are everything. And I found this web app called Miro, in which you can literally create stick notes and color it the way you want, color code it, and then write ideas. And like it works as boards, and then you can expand it. It's very good. I learned about this app during college when I was learning about UX UI. It's a great tool to also work with that. But here, for example, is one of the things I did. I just wanted to show you that. So I have here a community tab in which I have, so here's like a community part of the board that I created, and around the community interest and ideal community, I created sticky notes of things I like. And I put here, I like designers, UX, UI products, lovers of New York, sci-fi, pop culture, illustrators. I love illustrating. I'm an immigrant, so I relate to a lot of immigrants too. I like storytelling. I like writing. I like inspiration and creativity. I put TV shows I like too, which is like a good example of things like if you have no idea what you like, you can put TV shows too. Like I put Severance, which is one that I've been watching lately. I love Black Mirror too. And now I've also put a stick note for like small creators, which is something I like, and Lana Del Rey because I'm really huge fan of her music. So yeah, I think this is one of the ideas on how you can start and organize your thoughts in a way to be creative and find your ideal community through your remix of ideas and remix of authenticity. Another way of doing it is once you found it, join a platform that best resonates with you and that best connects with you. Like for me, what worked was Reddit. I recently found a subreddit for small creators, and I have learned so much because there's like a lot of creators there. They're huge creators, and they have been in YouTube for quite a while, and they bring their intakes, and it's inspiring because I'm constantly learning from them and understanding the journey of creating content for YouTube, which is something that is not an overnight thing. It's not a rule that it's going to be an overnight thing. And everyone has this idea that they're going to come to YouTube and, oh my God, in the first 30-day videos, I'm going to be, very famous already. I have to have this and that. And then but that's not the fact. Like a lot of them just blew up after 200 videos, after like a year doing this, or after like months of doing this. Of course, there are the outliers, but I already mentioned in another video, probably around here, there's another video that I mentioned, the previous video before this one. I mentioned on how we are overly exposed to those outliers, and that's not a rule. Like this is not how it works for the majority of people. But anyway, to conclude, authenticity isn't about being 100% original, especially because no one is 100% original. Get exposed to ideas, get exposed to content formats, different of them. Let them sink in, let them resonate with you. Make a board of interests, and then find your good remix, things that, resonate with you. There are a lot of people that they do mood boards, which helps to have more visual visually appealing aesthetics that resonate with you. So I highly recommend doing this, joining a platform to get inspired by others and a community. And then once you do that, well, you're in the way to be already part of that community, even if you're like not engaging with it as much as you wanted to. It's just the feeling of like connection that you have there. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to understand yourself. That's it for this video. If you like this video, you're probably gonna like this one here too. So yeah, subscribe. Let's continue having those conversations, okay? See you in the next video.